And now the end is near. So
it's 8:13 on a Wednesday here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, online at WTK.com. We're live here inside the Suburban Chevrolet Make the Choice Studios, and joining us as he does every single Wednesday, a guy who's going to sit in the chair for me on Friday as I go down to the Big Ten tournament is my man, my friend, my boy, Marcus Ray. You know him as number 29, the former captain, former NFL player, former coach, now Big Ten analyst. I know him as my guy. What's up, Marcus? How you doing?
Yeah, what's up, man? I'm good, doing well. Hope everything's good with you, too.
Yeah, everything is good, Marcus, and I appreciate you coming in on Friday. Want to talk about some things that maybe you could get into more on Friday, but I was looking back at this season and seeing how it unfolded, and a parallel. One of the parallels that struck me was to your senior season, 1998. You guys are coming off a national championship. You lose your first couple of games, and at that point, the coaching staff kind of closes ranks. I remember them talking about how, they kind of put recruiting on the back burner and really focused on the team, almost exclusively on improving and getting better. And you did that. I look back at this season. Michigan starts off 6-4. Mitch McGary goes down, and covering recruiting like I do, it was clear that while they were still recruiting, it wasn't like they were all over the country. You go out in California as much, and down in Florida as much, and in past years we saw them California, Louisiana, all over the country. It seemed like at that point, 6-4 juncture, while they were still recruiting, it was much more of an emphasis on the team. The current team, and getting it together, and we see the results. I wonder if you could take us back to 98 and see how that kind of helped you guys come together and have a really successful season.
Yeah, that was a good explanation and comparison, Sam, by the way. But, basketball is a lot different than football in the sense where you play more games. But we had a very tough non-conference schedule, I believe, starting off. And you have to understand, too, that when you have a bullseye on your back and the world is gunning for you because of the previous year's success, then you're going to have to focus on the team, or at least try to get started on the right foot. And if you don't, you got to understand that because of what you've already done, you don't have to recruit as hard, or you don't have to put as much time into it. I would use the phrase recruit smart instead of recruiting hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a beeline it sounds like those guys have done. But with us, we lost to Notre Dame, lost to Syracuse, and we had to look ourselves in the mirror and say, okay, well, we can't win a national championship, or we can't go undefeated. But what we can do is rally and win the Big Ten championship. Now, I was probably the Mitch McGary of that team,
mm-hmm.
in a sense where I wasn't there. I didn't go to battle with my teammates for 6 games in a row. You can do the math and compare the percentage. He's not coming back. I did come back. And when I did, I didn't have as much of an impact as I would have liked to. But my team was already set. We had been through the wars the previous year because we had a young team that won a national championship. And, we lost Charles. We lost Glenn Steele. We lost Greasy. And I think that would be the equivalent to guys that they lost in basketball. But when you have great coaches and you have supreme talent in other areas, other guys got a chance to step up and play football and show what they could do. And then we eventually got a piece of the Big Ten championship. So that's how I would relate those two scenarios.
Yeah, man. And this team, I tell you, give them a ton of credit. They talked about it at the celebration. Not a lot of people, when Mitch went down, believed in this team's ability to go out there and do what they've done. And they said we did, and they believe they can go much further in the Big Ten tournament and beyond. And looking around the college basketball landscape, I know you watch it too, Marcus. I think they have a shot. It's not a far-fetched thing to say that Michigan is one of the teams that we could be talking about at the very end.
They have to be in the discussion because they're hot and they're good and they're a conference champion. So, and they were just in the tournament making noise a year ago. And a lot of wild things happen in the tournament. In the college basketball, you're going to see upsets and buzzer beaters. It's going to get crazy. But I just want to make a comment towards when people don't believe, and then you have to show them. And then once you show them, you really don't even pay attention to them no more. It's kind of like that cool Mo D, how you like me now mentality. You know, I got to show my age a little bit. You know, Mo D used to be kind of good.
I know.
He had about 2 songs.
He did.
But
like
it's
the Wild
almost
Wild
like
West out there.
Hey Sam, but the thing is, man, like that's what makes sports so special. It's that whole New Jack City CMB. We got. That's why Michigan have those shirts that only they know what it truly means. I mean, it may leak out, but they're a family within a family. Yeah, they appreciate the support. They love the pats on the back once we finally prove the critic wrong. You know, Coach Carr used to tell us that the critic doesn't count. You know, and so they don't even really pay attention to what other people think. So when no one gave them a chance, somebody in that locker room, coach or player, a group of people decided we don't care what anybody thinks. We're going to lay it on the line and go out here and see how good we can be. And that's what we all are witnessing.
All right, so we're talking to Marcus Ray, by the way, here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, online at WTKA.com. So let's bring it back to football. So, Marcus, you go through the 98 season, and then you have Pro Day. So Pro Day is today for the Maize and Blue. Kind of take us through the day, what goes on, who's in the house, and how much of an advantage it is when you are working out in your own environment.
Well, every year I was at Michigan, I watched Pro Day, or at least my senior year, I participated. And depending on the caliber of talent you have coming out, that's going to dictate who shows up, whether it's a top-level scout or whether it's just a mid-tier scout that's just there in case somebody has a pretty good workout or just to make new friends and talk to some other guys. But I think there's an advantage to work out at your place because that's where you train for 4 or 5 years. You know your steps. You know, the guys that are standing there watching you or rooting you on, or, it's just like playing a home game. Mm-hmm. So, I don't think it makes you perform better, but I think it takes away some of the nervousness, versus being at the combine or being on TV, and then you get a chance to have your quarterback throw you the ball, or you get to work out against guys that, give you a chance to look pretty good, or, bench press with your weight room. I think I did like 20 reps at Michigan, and then I, did less than that somewhere else. And I always felt like, man, I should just wait. But if you're slow, you're slow. If you can run, you're going to pop a time. So we're not going to see any miracles happen in the indoor building, but you'll probably see some guys test a little bit better because you get another 30 days or so to work out, train, improve your time or your performance. So that's one of the advantages of working out at the combine. It's like a barometer or like a measuring stick. So then when you go forward at your pro day, you like, instead of 17 reps, I need to get 21 reps. You can pick up, some technique stuff. And, maybe my start was bad in the 40. Now I need to show them I can start well and finish well. So I just think time gives you the most advantage, but the atmosphere and environment helps you perform better on pro day at your place.
Okay. Marcus, a question from a former player perspective I want to throw at you. I just got a question in a recruiting roundup, and a caller, a very astute caller, kind of laid out a locker room dynamic that, that a school, in this case Michigan, maybe would have to deal with. He gave me a scenario with a young man named Malik McDowell, 5-star out of Southfield, and he said, hey, let's say that this young man, who has stated quite obviously that Michigan State is his top choice, his number one choice, but has not signed a letter, and obviously still an impasse exists, with his mom and the coaching staff there that's kind of left things open. Let's say he wound up at another school, namely Michigan. The concern over effort, over happiness. How significant is it, and what's the difference? What's the line between it being a scenario like Chris Spielman who said, hey, my dad maybe go to Ohio State. I wanted to go to Michigan. Or Justin Bourne, who obviously wanted to go to Ohio State, but was convinced to go to Michigan, eventually wound up at Ohio State. One went really well, the other one didn't. What's the line between it going one way and the other?
Well, first of all, the line is just like odds and anything else. It's a crapshoot, and there's no guarantees it'll work out either way. That's why I appreciate when Archie Griffin told me, go where they want you, not where you want to go. And for me, it worked out because I had options, just like, I think Malik probably has a lot more options than I did, but my mom wanted me to go to Michigan. I wanted to go to Michigan. I didn't, but my family wanted me to go to Ohio State, and everybody I went to school with, so the pressure was there to go to Ohio State. And, I felt like you couldn't go wrong either way. But I think what you're seeing in the Malik situation is an indirect reflection of Michigan football, the state of it. Michigan has become a consolation prize instead of a top choice. It's like, okay, well, I'll just go there, but I really wanted to go there. And, may he rest in peace. I think if Bo Schembechler was here, he would have walked in there, whether he was a coach or in administration, he would have told Brady Hoke, hey, this kid's not coming here. If he doesn't want to go to Michigan, and if he wants to go to Michigan State, then that's where he needs to go.
Well, but Marcus, that's not what he did with Justin Bourne, because Justin Bourne wanted to go to Ohio State, and Bo said, no, you're going to Michigan.
Yeah, but the X factor with that, though, too, was his daddy played here, actually went to my high school, one of the greats from Eastmore High School, and Mike. But Justin was kind of torn a little bit. I mean, he grew up loving Ohio State, but it wasn't like Michigan was a consolation prize. It was kind of like, he probably talked it over with his pops. They came to some decision. Justin changed it. Justin made his own decision at the end of the day, believe it or not. And my Mike may have talked him into it, but there was no rift, no beef, no family, split up. I don't think that, that was going to be a potential problem. But all I'm saying is that Michigan right now, being a 7-6 football team, being a team that has lost at least 5 games, five out of the last 6 years, 4 out of the last 6 years, you lost 6 games. Some of the best players are looking at Michigan like, yeah. And so, that's where when you are winning and you're the conference champion and you claim conference supremacy, you don't got to beg and wait and hope and cross your fingers. The best players will come back, but you got to win with what you have. It's just the way it goes. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's where, because all the personal stuff, I'll leave that side alone, but recruiting is like that. Kids want to go where they can have fun, where they want to win and feel comfortable. A lot of guys don't always make their decisions based off of academics. If that was the case, they wouldn't go to Ohio State. It's just a period. I'm from there. I've seen the campus. I know how the football stuff works. I'm going there for my degree. Yeah, it sounds good, but you want to play for a winning team, and the scholarship is the same everywhere you go. But in Malik's case, Michigan is inheriting a great football player.
If they get him. Let's throw the F on there.
If they get him, they'll be getting a young man who can play. Probably, definitely, a great chance of being an NFL guy. Michigan doesn't have that type of talent all over the field at every position, so they have to take them as they can get them. But, I spent some time with Malik. He's a good kid. We had our conversation, about life, about football, about the whole thing. And, I just feel like once he gets to Michigan, if he goes, and once he gets there, all of this will be water under the bridge because there's something about putting on that helmet and playing. And then as you get older, and I told him, when you're 27, you'll probably look back and say, man, that really worked itself out. And so that's what I'm kind of hoping for.
I got you. Great stuff, as always, from, a guy who is part philosopher, man. That's what Raise the Light is. It's a book on philosophy. Hey, man, that's what it is. It's philosophy. That's the whole book. Or not just the book, but the books, the series.
That's right.
Of books from Marcus Ray. Hey, man, I guess I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, if you talk to Charles, man, what's going on with his pro prospects, man? What's gonna what's going to come of him this year?
Charles is very secretive about his football endeavors, but he doesn't hide the fact that he loves playing the game. Charles will play forever if they let him. It's not about the money. It's not even about winning a championship or being the best ever no more, I think, anymore. His numbers speak for themselves. I mean, he's had a historic career. He just loves playing football. And I don't think he's done in his mind. He always feels like he has more in the tank. So we'll find out once all the madness clears up. The way it did last year, because, last year he didn't get picked up right away in March when the free agent frenzy began. It took him to almost June or July to get picked up. Well, I think it was right after the Mott weekend when he found out
it was after that.
Oakland.
It was.
Yeah. So, it's still going to take him a couple more weeks. And now I think being a veteran and going into year 17, he probably is waiting to find out who's going where's going to be the best opportunity. If it's Oakland again, it's Oakland. If the money's right, he'll do it. But Charles is set for life. His career speaks for himself. He's doing some great things off the field. But he loves playing football, man. I think it's the equivalent of why I still love playing basketball. Like, people ask me, why are you on the court right now? You're kind of old, you look bigger, but I still got that work, though, Sam, and I still got that love for the game, and nobody can really check me. So it's one of those things where I just love playing basketball, and that's how I get in shape or, lose my weight. But it's basketball. I'd rather play basketball than get on the elliptical or do your insanities and all this because I have a hoop game. And Charles loves playing football, and he just keeps that young mentality as far as a kid, or that high school or pee-wee mentality where it's free and you go out there and you just love playing. But I think that's where Charles is, and we'll find out. And I believe if nothing happens, that he'll retire an Oakland Raider.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about what's next for Marcus Ray, though. Where can people get their hands on your Rays of Light books, and what about Volume 3? When will we see that?
Volume 3, man, I'll tell you, I've changed the course of it at least twice, but it's going to be a great piece of literature. I promise you that. It'll be ready by I want to say the summertime, because I want to have them on the market during football season. It's all about timing, and I want to take my time with that. The whole Rays of Light, and just last night I was thinking about, I'm only going to go up to Volume 5 probably with the series over the years, and I'm going to cover some other books that I need to write. But you still can go into the MBin. You can go to Amazon. You can go to Amazon.com, mbin.com. You can email me, mray29@gmail.com. Follow me on Twitter. I haven't really been tweeting as much lately because, I'm not the type that just talk to be talking. I'll talk when I have something to say. But I'm in the lab right now, and working on some things. So I've been kind of low-key. I'm waiting on some news for a couple of opportunities that I put in for. And then, me, once I find out, I'll let you know and let the fan base know. But I'll be in there Friday. We got the spring weekend coming up and all that good stuff coming up. We'll talk about that, next time too. But I'm just planning, Sam. I'm just laying in the, I'm just treating it like I did in '94 when I red-shirted. Then in '95 I got a little clock. I started beating some brothers out. Then I got benched for a minute. And I said, you know what? I'm never coming off the field again. And then, so I'm probably about right now in my mind state around about March of '96. Just really figuring out how to play the position and how to go out here and dominate and be successful, in other ways. So that's where I am with it, man. But everybody can still get those Rays of Light. 734-645-9618. Don't be afraid to call, text, email, whatever you got to do. It's always go blue, Sam.
All right. Marcus Ray, man, appreciate you. Thanks a lot for Friday.
All right. Take care, fellas.
All right. Marcus Ray will be filling in for me on Friday here on the Michigan Insider. A lot of nuggets there from Marcus. Looking back to 98, Pro Day, Michigan basketball, Malik McDowell. Covered the gamut. You can always find that on the podcast on WTKA.com. Got to get to a break. Back on the other side here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, the official voice of University of Michigan.